If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay?
This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope. We have a major breakthrough in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. The transcript has been unsealed by the federal government in a case that's been sealed for 2.5 years. What am I talking about? Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, 2.5 years ago, went to the presiding judge, Judge Carol Weimer, and she sealed off the Mustafa Aljazairi case. What that means, you can no longer verify what the government is telling you in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Usually, you can put in a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA to verify. You can FOIA request the body cams. You can FOIA request the documents in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. You can FOIA request the transcript to verify what is going on in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. But in this case, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, 2.5 years ago, sealed off this case. Now, the federal government just unsealed the transcripts. So now you can find out what is going on inside the courtroom. What is this prosecutor, Sarah Sammy, Stephanie Buck, has been saying to Judge Carol Weimer for the past 2.5 years? The transcript is now unsealed. What that means is now that the federal government can look into the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Now, this is a major problem for Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, prosecutor Sarah Sammy, prosecutor Stephanie Buck, because for the past 2.5 years, on the record, they've been lying about Mustafa. Now, what you have is body cams all over the internet. The body cams in the Mustafa Aljazairi case, I managed to get into the server of the police department and steal the file. I've released the body cams, documents in the Mustafa Aljazairi, the so-called sealed case. Now, you have the body cams. Now you have unsealed transcript. We can get to the bottom of what prosecutor Sarah Sammy and Stephanie Buck has been saying about Mustafa for the past 2.5 years. This is a major breakthrough. We can verify what they've been saying.
I mean, didn't they have these metal detectors? They had all these machines at the...
That's right.
At the door.
Right.
So
Sheriff Glenhill we're bringing a giant machine to make sure that no one is recording inside the courtroom. Now, last time I checked, I thought this was a public hearing, but Commonwealth Amy Ashworth and Sheriff Glenhill will bring in a giant machine, scan you from head to toe to make sure that you're not recording.
Only on Mustafa's court.
Only on Mustafa's case. Well, is it 15 days ago? When did they unseal the transcripts?
The 14th of October.
On the 14th of October, the transcript is now unsealed.
2,700 files.
2,700 files is now unsealed. Every motion, every transcript,
detail, every subpoena, everything.
Now, before we get into what we're going to talk about today, the Mustafa Aljazairi case is completely falsified. Mustafa gets in a vehicle accident. This is a vehicle accident. The dash camera, the computer inside the vehicle show that Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. The dash camera show that he avoided every vehicle. He did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Mustafa lost his family in a vehicle accident. Mustafa gets helicoptered to the hospital. Mustafa wakes up out of a coma. You have his statements are falsified. You have a vehicle that is crushed and staged by the police department. You have the children, a 9, a 10, a 14, and a 16, weaponized against Mustafa by the police department. You have a dash camera that's in Mustafa's car. Mustafa's dash camera. Imagine, you have a dash camera inside your car. The police department takes it, cuts it, removes the audio, And for the past 2.5 years, they tell you we have a dash camera that's cut before impact and has no audio. Well, in the case file, the police department says there is audio.
Specifically,
In court.
Kathy Zymus.
Specifically, Cassie Zymuth. The officer that take possession of Mustafa's car is now talking about violating the chain of custody, taking the dash camera back to his vehicle, downloading the file, notifying the Commonwealth attorney.
Officer Chad Mason.
Officer Chad Mason sat on those files for 2 days. Imagine, you get in a vehicle accident, you're in a coma, while the officer takes your dash camera
Off the windshield.
off the windshield, takes the dash camera back to his car, sits on those files for 2 days.
Violating chain of custody.
Violating the chain of custody. So instead
Without
of
a
giving
warrant.
it without
Without a
2
warrant.
days
Without a
later,
warrant.
2 days later gets a warrant. Well, today we have a dash camera that has no audio. It's cut before impact, has 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle. And he's openly he says that to Judge Carol Weimer.
By the way,
Understand?
By the way, we just found out through the transcript that Robert Drum stated on the 31st of October of last year, 2024, in that motion to dismiss, he said he took the camera pieces. It's two pieces. There's an interior camera and there's the main camera. He said he put them one on top of the other and he gave them physically he put them in a box, gave it to Catherine Zymus. Why is it that when we look at the report from Kathy Zymus, where she photographed the box, she photographed the SD card, she photographed the camera, it's missing. The interior camera is physically missing. The cable that they claim
They took pictures
attached?
of the dash camera that's on the windshield without the camera facing inside the vehicle.
Yep. And you have a body cam, or you have a body cam where Robert Drum is approaching Chad Mason while half of his body is inside of Mustafa's car. Where is that body cam? What
We'll
was
get
he
into
doing?
the details. What they were attempting to do is come out and say there is no camera facing inside the vehicle. That the only camera, this dash camera, only has a camera facing outside the vehicle. But we'll get into those details. Now,
get into it.
we have a transcript that's unsealed by the federal government. And we're going to have a specific podcast that we're going to read the transcript where Officer Chad Mason admit to cutting and muting the dash camera in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Now, what we're going to talk about today is Mustafa's defense attorney. Now, about a month ago, Judge Carol Weimer put in an ordered that Mustafa's vehicle get reconstructed. That the SD cards in Mustafa's dash camera that the police department is in possession of get extracted. There's metadata on the SD cards that they can extract the full dash camera. They can extract the audio of the SD card. And the judge ordered that the SD card gets extracted. And the government
by
paid
an independent expert.
by an
from
independent
Mustafa's
expert
side.
from Mustafa's side. That
The
Mustafa's
government
defense attorney
paid for it.
The government paid for it. They paid money for the independent expert to reconstruct the vehicle. They paid money for the independent expert to extract the SD card, extract the dash camera and the audio of the SD card for Mustafa's dash camera. And we're on track for Mustafa's trial.
We're
Now,
on track to uncover exactly what happened in that accident. I mean, we know what happened, but this is for Mustafa's experts.
absolutely. The
to extract that
prosecutor,
data.
absolutely. The prosecutor for 2.5 years claimed that Mustafa is arguing inside the vehicle with his girlfriend. Now, you watch the dash camera.
She got a lip reader?
She got a lip reader. They tell you that this dash camera doesn't have audio. But when you open the case file, Officer Zymus with digital forensic admit that this dash camera has audio. Well, about a little bit over a month ago, the judge ordered and gave money for an independent expert to extract the metadata off the SD card in the dash camera.
Let me ask you a question. Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
You say Mustafa's attorney, Brad Haywood, filed a motion for expert funds to come in and examine this dash camera, to re-examine the vehicles, get the original data from the data recorder from the cars, both cars, and re-examine how this accident happened. Okay, now, when the lawyer, Mustafa's defense, when he filed that motion, there was a counter motion by the prosecutor. She filed that Mustafa's defense should not be able to examine the SD card, should not be able to examine the dash camera or the vehicles, and she strongly objected to it. I mean,
Prosecutor Sarah Sammy strongly objected that the independent experts
that is not needed. It's not needed.
Absolutely.
That they've already had the information, and whatever information the government has
already supplied it to the defense.
Already supplied, and if the defense wants to look at it, they can only, according to Sarah Sammy, she says that the defense should only be allowed to look at what the prosecutors have. And she strongly objected to it.
Now for 2.5 years, she has a lip reader.
She's got
2.5 years. Regardless, I mean, her digital forensic, Cassie Zimas, is telling her that there's audio on this dash camera. But you have Prosecutor Sarah Sammy and Commonwealth Amy Ashworth and Prosecutor Stephanie Buck take a completely different direction and hire a lip reader. Wait a minute. As a matter of fact, you don't have to just rely on the document in the case file that Officer Zimas is saying that this dash camera has audio. Cassie Zimas got on the stand in a motion to dismiss
on October 31st, 2024. And the reason why I say the dates is because you're going to post those transcripts. Every transcript, every hearing, you're going to have them on the internet. You're going to have them in a link, and people can refer back to those dates. So when I say motion to dismiss on October 31st, 2024, people can go back and they can verify what you're saying. They can read more into what you're saying. So you're saying on the motion to dismiss on October 31st, 2024.
Officer Zimas took the stand and told Judge Carol Weimer that this dash camera does have audio. Now, what's interesting about her statement is inconsistent. She would say this dash camera has audio on videos before, but the last videos doesn't have audio. And then she says...
Before you continue...
then she says there is no way that it has and it doesn't have audio. Either it has audio or it doesn't have audio. The bottom line is, Cassie Zimas with Digital Forensics is admitting that this dash camera has audio. Now, wait a minute. Where's the audio in that dash camera?
And that the audio capability was turned on.
Was turned on.
In the camera. So now, Mustafa had the camera to record audio.
Now,
the option was turned on.
The government gave money. There's a judge order to extract...
Recently,
a month ago, to extract the audio and the full dash camera off the SD card that the police department is in possession of for the dash camera. And we're on track to have evidence, exonerating evidence, that there is no argument inside the vehicle.
That this was a car accident.
That this is a car accident. I mean, 2.5 years, they haven't reconstructed a vehicle accident. So, all of a sudden, an ex parte hearing is held. I mean, we have a document in Mustafa's case that the judge held an ex parte hearing.
Without Mustafa's knowledge.
Without Mustafa's knowledge, without Mustafa being in the courtroom. We don't know what was said in the courtroom. All of a sudden, the lawyer is withdrawing out of the case. He's withdrawing out of the case. Wait a minute. The government gave you $100,000. There is a judge order to reconstruct the vehicle. There's a judge order to extract the SD card, the audio, and the full dash camera.
I mean, what does that look like?
You have money to get that done, over $100,000. You sat on this case for a whole entire year. All of a sudden, we're on track to have exonerating evidence in the Mustafa Aljazairi case, and all of a sudden there is a ex parte hearing without Mustafa's knowledge is held,
and it's sealed.
And it's sealed, and the lawyer puts in for his withdrawal.
Can you show us what you're talking about? I mean, I think it's
let me pull that up for you.
It would be really good to have a visual on what's going on. So
do me a favor.
The government, so Mustafa's defense argues this is a car accident. My client is innocent. I want to examine his dash camera that the police already admitted they've tampered with, that the prosecutors allege there's no audio, and they ran to the bank with it. They've already told the community through the media that there's no audio. They held Mustafa without bond simply because there was no audio, and the prosecutor proffered that there was an argument in the car. Now, Mustafa's defense files to get the audio and to get the official data from the vehicles to re-examine it. The judge grants the money. The inspection goes through for both the vehicle and the camera. They extract the official videos from the dash camera. They get those. Money was given to the lawyer. The government paid to get this information out of the dash camera. The government paid to have an expert come out here to the police department, re-examine Mustafa's car, extract the official data from the car's computer, not what Drum gave, not the PDF. The original data.
The raw data.
The raw data from the vehicle computer, the airbag control module. The government paid for it. Okay? Mustafa's on track to uncover that this is a car accident, and the prosecutors have been lying for the past 2.5 years. All of a sudden, an ex parte hearing takes place, a private hearing, without Mustafa's knowledge. And the defense attorney 3 days later files to withdraw from the case. I mean, that is unbelievable.
I mean, this defense attorney, not only was he going to extract the SD card, not only was he going to reconstruct this vehicle accident, he filed a Brady motion that the police weaponized the children against Mustafa. Imagine what he's talking about in court. On the record, by the way, we have the transcript that has been sealed by the federal government. He filed a Brady motion that the children, a 9, a 10, a 14, has been weaponized by the police against Mustafa. That the vehicle has been blocked 2.5 years ago from getting reconstructed. There's a judge order 2.5 years ago. Why has the vehicle not been reconstructed?
I mean, let's look at that document. I'm looking at it right here.
So what I'm trying to say is there's a whole entire Brady motion, and then all of a sudden they hold an ex parte conversation. I mean, do me a favor, go over. That's okay.
I mean, let's take a look at this. Look, you can draw whatever conclusion you want out of this information. Okay, we're just here reporting on the facts. Okay, we're looking at a notice where there's an ex parte hearing on the 22nd of October, okay? And there's a notice on the 24th of October. 3 days later, the counsel withdraws. He's out of the case.
I mean, is Mustafa's defense attorney being threatened to
that's
remove
exactly
himself
what
from
it
the
looks
case?
like. That's what it looks like.
And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. It's because when you read the motion that he put on the record and why he's withdrawing out of the case, he specifically said,
Let's take a look at
I
it.
reviewed the case and Mustafa is innocent, and the police targeted Mustafa. It has a bias.
They botched the investigation.
They botched the investigation, has a bias in this whole entire case, and Mustafa is innocent. Evidence showed that he's innocent. Let me pull up the document for you.
Yeah, please pull it up. And by the way, this is all public record. If you go to Prince William County Circuit Court, it's case number CR 2300-2167-00. The complete case file is unsealed. That means you can go to the clerk now. Now that it's unsealed, you can go to the clerk, pay $25, and get the entire case file emailed to you.
I mean, this is huge. You're talking about a sealed case for 2.5 years.
Corruption at its finest.
The federal government is now looking into this case, and that's why it's unsealed.
And I think, a lot of people, they don't know how this process works. I spoke to a federal prosecutor months ago, some time ago, last year. And I'm letting them know what's going on in Mustafa's case. I mean, they sat down, they listened. It was a over 3-hour meeting. And when I'm talking to them, they asked me specifically, the information that you're showing me, is that public record? Because if it's sealed, we're not allowed to look at it.
They're not allowed to look at it.
They're not allowed to look at it. Not only are they not allowed to look at it, but if they have to go through and try to obtain the information that I'm showing them, they have their own legal process of getting that. They have to have their own process. So basically, they have to file just as if you were to go get a lawyer,
Absolutely.
and your lawyer would try to fight off this seal and try to obtain transcripts or information. Well, today, I mean, as of October 14th, the entire case file is unsealed, which means federal prosecutors are looking at what Drum is doing. They're looking at what Chad Mason testified to. By the way, and
I mean, look, you have a situation.
Not only are they looking at that, they are actually looking at October 31st. And the thing that I wanted to mention earlier when you were talking about October 31st, 2024, is that there is misconduct in the courtroom. Okay? What I mean by that is when those witnesses, those officers, Kathy Zimas, Robert Drum, Chad Mason, I think Sean Peake, there were some other witnesses by the Commonwealth that were brought in that day. The judge did not order to sequester the witnesses. You know, usually when you have multiple witnesses testifying, it's the judge's courtroom, his rules. He orders the witnesses to stand outside and not discuss the case with anybody.
It's so disturbing. I mean, it's so disturbing that Robert Drum, Chad Mason, the officer that's testifying to tampering with the dash camera, Cassie Zimas, digital forensic, who says in the case file that there is audio, is left in the courtroom.
They're all sitting in the courtroom.
I mean, here is the problem I have. Mustafa's defense attorney at the time, Blake Weiner,
who, by the way, is an expert on police misconduct.
Didn't ask those witnesses to step outside the room or bring it up to the judge. Forget that. The prosecutors, there is Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, Stephanie Buck, they're okay with those witnesses staying in the courtroom. Wait a minute. Forget the prosecutor, forget the defense attorney. What about Judge Carol Weimer?
Why didn't Judge Weimer order the witnesses to leave the courtroom?
Why did Judge Weimer not order the witnesses to stay outside while each one was testifying? I mean, they're corroborating their story. I mean, at one point, Prosecutor Stephanie Buck would ask Prosecutor Sarah Sammy would ask Cassie Zimas and would ask her,
you just heard what Robert Drum testified to.
You just heard what Chad Mason testified to.
You just heard what Chad Mason testified to. Is it your testimony today that blah, blah, blah?
I mean, you're talking about misconduct in the courtroom. And by the way,
in real time.
By the way, no one can verify that because the case is sealed.
Like when you come out here and you say,
it sounds like it sounds unbelievable.
When you come out here and that day you come out here and you say the witnesses were all in the courtroom and they're all listening to each other's testimony to corroborate the story.
It's unbelievable. And by the way, no one can verify that because the case is sealed. Commonwealth's Amy Ashworth went to Judge Carol Weimer 2.5 years and sealed off the whole entire case. But here you have a situation where the federal government now unsealed the transcripts.
I mean,
now they can look into the misconduct that's taking place inside the courtroom. Not just misconduct. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy is lying on the records. For the past 2.5 years, the body cam show one thing, the forensic interview would show another thing, the dash camera would show another thing. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull up the transcript. I mean, now that it's unsealed, we're gonna read the transcript.
We're gonna verify what Sarah Sammy was saying at the time.
I have the body cams that I stole from the server inside the police department. I can verify what Prosecutor Sarah Sammy has been saying for the past 2.5 years.
And by the way, I'll tell you something. You know, that day, October 31st, when you come to the courthouse, that whole road was closed off. When you go into the courtroom, I mean, every courtroom you go in, they scan you, you give your items, you put it in the x-ray machine. They tell you can't have this, you can't have that, and then they give you your items on the other side of the belt. For that day specifically, on the 3rd floor, they had the same apparatus at the front desk, at the courtroom itself. They brought in the whole entire machine so that when Kathy Zimas, Robert Drum, Chad Mason, and other Commonwealth attorney witnesses are all in the courtroom as each other is testifying, as every other person is testifying, and they're actively listening, actively being coached on how to corroborate their lie, you can't talk about it because they've sealed off the courtroom.
You can't. No one can verify what you're saying.
They've sealed off the courtroom.
You can say whatever you want, but no one can verify whatever you're talking about.
So today we can look at that transcript and we can verify that the prosecutor is asking Zimas, you just heard what Chad Mason testified to. Is it your testimony? I mean, they're building their story as they go along.
This is the machine that they had.
Where is Judge Weimer?
By the way, this is the machine they have in front of the courtroom.
I mean, where is Judge Weimer?
They would roll in. Where exactly?
That's court misconduct, by the way. 100% it's misconduct.
Of course. I mean, you're letting. I mean, look. Sheriff Glen Hill will have his deputy sheriff roll in a machine like this and put it right in front of the courtroom. By the way, just for Mustafa, no other case.
Mustafa.
And they want to prevent anybody from recording inside the courtroom. So that way, whatever the prosecutor lies about in the Mustafa Aljazairi case, no one can verify it. I mean, you go to the federal government, and the federal government tell you, unfortunately, the case is sealed on the county level, on the state level. Well, now the transcripts are unsealed. It's public. So Julie Carey with NBC4, she can't hide behind, I'm not going to report on this case because the case is sealed. The transcript is now unsealed. And the body cams are all over the internet. So when prosecutor Sarah Sammy says, by the way, 2.5 years ago, there was a judge order to reconstruct the vehicle.
2 years
This whole
ago.
accident, I mean, this is a car accident. Either Mustafa did this intentionally or it's a car accident. Doesn't make sense that a prosecutor would block the reconstruction 2.5 years ago when there's
This was May of 2023?
Exactly. Now, prosecutor Sarah Sammy says that we allowed the independent expert to inspect and reconstruct the vehicle. That's not what the body cams show. Do me a favor.
Body cams that are sealed.
Body cams that are sealed. I mean,
so nobody could really verify. Nobody could go back 2.5 years and verify that the prosecutor is lying.
I have a body cam where the independent experts having a judge order to reconstruct the vehicle accident, and you have
Robert Drum tells him, per Sarah Sammy, you're not allowed to touch the vehicle. You're not allowed to inspect the car.
I mean,
and the guy is shocked. By the way, he's like, "What?"
By the way, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's listen to what the body cam says.
Take a look.
Which one is it?
What's that?
Which one is
It's in the box. Per my conversation with Sarah, said this is the first time I've ever done this. I mean,
by the way, this is Mustafa's defense attorney.
The snake.
Casey Stevens.
The woman beater.
2.5 years ago.
The drunk.
This is Mustafa's defense attorney. And this is the independent expert that we paid $5,000 to go in and reconstruct the vehicle. This accident, reconstruct it. There's a computer inside the vehicle. You can find out whether this is intentional or an accident.
So that lawyer took 50 grand from you.
I mean,
50 grand.
Doesn't make sense. He took $50,000 from me. Doesn't make sense that the prosecutor blocks the reconstruction.
I thought the judge ordered a reconstruction. Why is the prosecutor putting stipulations on what happens with an independent expert that was ordered by the judge?
I mean, if this isn't on body cam, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Let's listen.
Which one is it?
what's that?
Which one is it?
It's in the box. Per my conversation with Sarah, said this is the first time I've ever done this in 18 years. She said we can pull it out for you.
Yeah.
You can look at it. She doesn't want anybody touching it.
Okay.
Look at his face.
Like touching it, I mean, can I?
Like if you want to take pictures and all that, but if anything needs to be manipulated, we'll do it for you for chain of custody issues.
He's like,
Sure.
Okay.
But yeah,
He's
you're more
like,
welcome to
look,
poke around.
Yeah.
But nothing gets moved, changed, or anything like that. So.
Cool. Joel?
Yeah, and the funny thing is about that, the funniest thing about this conversation is that they've already crushed the shit out of his car.
I mean, this is Mustafa's car. I mean, take a hard look at Mustafa's car.
Oh, hold on a second.
Let's take a hard look at Mustafa's car. This independent expert has a tripod. What is it? A Leica scan?
I mean,
It's called a Leica scan, right?
You have the lawyer there.
I mean, here.
The lawyer.
This is a tripod where this is a tripod where he's supposed to go in and reconstruct the vehicle. He's supposed to scan Mustafa's vehicle, scan the SUV, and based on this scan, by the way, this is a very expensive machine that reconstruct where the impact happened, how the accident happened. Now, does it make sense that he goes in, He can't touch the vehicle. We just heard investigator Robert Drum tell the independent experts, you can't touch the vehicle because prosecutor Sarah Sammy says you can't touch the vehicle.
Per his conversation with Sammy.
Per his conversation with Sarah Sammy. Now, there's a judge order to reconstruct the vehicle. Now, so he goes in. He only scans Mustafa's vehicle. He's not allowed to scan the SUV.
Why not?
Wait a minute. Why not?
I thought this was a car accident.
How are you supposed to reconstruct a vehicle if you can't touch the vehicle, if you're not scanning the other vehicle? And wait a minute. Why is Mustafa's vehicle completely crushed?
Hold on, let me go.
I mean, what are we looking at here?
Elaine's passing. So.
You know, every time I hear an airplane, she has a license. I just think she's going to dive right into my podcast.
Well, you're safe. Okay.
I mean,
you were saying? Why is the car?
Why am I looking at a vehicle that has no roof, completely chopped off? By the way,
look at that driver fender. I mean, that I just can't get over the driver fender portion of it.
So right here, we're gonna see. Oh, by the way, when we're looking at this, we're gonna look at the picture of the vehicle after the accident at the scene.
At the scene.
This is inside the police department.
That's inside the impound lot. The police impound.
There's a body cam where Investigator Davis and Robert Drum, there's two body cams where they say, we had the fire department chop up the vehicle for us so we can get the ACM. Wait a minute. The vehicle was not caved in.
You did what?
The vehicle was not caved in. You had access to the ACM. By the way, we went to a junkyard. We made a video. Within 3 minutes, we took the ACM out of a vehicle. That's out of
a 2007 Chrysler 300.
3 minutes. So the question is for the police department.
3 minutes, 3 bolts.
Why did they chop up the roof? I mean, look at what they've done here. They chopped up the roof.
Hold on, let me go back.
They chopped up the roof. There's no roof.
The ACM is not in the roof.
They cut into the driver fender. Look,
the ACM is not inside the fender.
Why is the frame bent?
It's not in the A-pillar.
I mean, why is the frame bent? This is the frame, by the way.
Where did you get that ACM from? Where is it located?
Right. You have the shifter in the middle console. There's a plastic piece.
So you remove the shifter.
You remove the shifter.
It's sitting right there in front of you.
There's 3 bolts, literally 3
within hands reach.
Bolts, exactly. And it takes you literally 3 minutes to remove this ACM.
Without cutting the roof, without cutting the fender, without crushing the car. Without destroying exculpatory evidence.
And then you have the independent expert is rescanning a vehicle that the police department crushed.
Chopped up.
They're staging the vehicle. What they've done is the original Leica scan is nowhere in the file. Because Robert Drum originally scanned the scene. Scanned Mustafa's vehicle, scanned the SUV.
So he says. I mean, I saw a physical drawing by Drum. I didn't see a computerized drawing.
I mean, he says he scanned it. He had he had the whole entire road blocked off for him to scan for hours.
For like 4 hours.
We have the drone. We have the drone footage that the road is blocked. The vehicle, Mustafa's vehicle, the SUV, and where is the Leica scan? The county gave you $500,000 equipment to scan and reconstruct the accident.
And you're going to give us a hand drawing.
I mean, I cannot believe there is a hand. I mean, you want to tell me that this is your Leica scan? I mean, this is the Leica scan?
That's the Leica scan. That's what you can.
What do you mean?
$1 million equipment.
I mean,
and this is what you're giving us.
They're comfortable because they thought the file is sealed, that no one is going to look into the details of this case. So,
that's a problem, by the way. That's a very big problem.
100%. You remove the Leica scan, and then you crush the vehicle. And then when we bring in an independent expert, you crush the vehicle. I mean, what is this? What the fuck am I looking at? This is the vehicle. And by the way, this is what the vehicle looked like.
That's what the vehicle looked like.
At the scene, after the accident, this is what the vehicle looked like.
And by the way, zoom in on that driver's side.
That's the driver's side.
The driver door. Does that dash look caved in? I don't know.
The ACM is right there. The ACM is right here.
ACM is right there.
So
nothing's in the way. Nothing's obstructing it.
They're claiming that the vehicle is caved in, that they can't get to the ACM.
Bullshit.
Wait a minute.
BS.
The vehicle is not caved in, so you have access to the ACM. So why did you cut the roof?
Why cut the roof?
I mean, what are you doing to the vehicle?
You know, it sure sounds like
You cut the roof,
let me give you a theory. Let me give you a theory.
and then you have the independent expert rescan the vehicle. So basically, the computer's not going to pick up how the accident happened.
Let me
anymore.
give you a theory, and then you tell me your opinion. Okay. I think they crushed his car. They chopped up the roof. They specifically cut. I mean, they didn't really cut. They tore into the driver and passenger fender, the front fenders. They tore into them. They removed the roof. They crushed the car so that when your expert comes in, he's not allowed to touch the car. He's not allowed to inspect. By the way, he's not allowed to inspect what he came in for, which is the brake failure. He came in to examine the car
That's
because
right. The police mechanic inspected Mustafa's vehicle. Inspected Mustafa's vehicle and found brake failure.
Okay, let me tell you.
We have a body cam.
Let me tell you my theory. They tore into the fenders, the front fenders, the driver and passenger. They chopped up the roof, and they caused more damage to the front end of the car, so that when your expert comes in, he's not allowed to touch it, so he's only going to scan it. What is his scan going to show? His scan is going to corroborate the lie of Robert Drum. Robert Drum tells Mustafa, you drove head on into the SUV. You drove head on into the SUV. That's a lie. Mustafa's car was T-boned. It was T-boned. But they did this in a very specific and strategic way so that when your expert scans the car, the computer doesn't know that the police cut into the car. The computer doesn't know that the police chopped up the roof. The computer is not going to know the police caused damage that wasn't there after the car accident. The computer is going to scan the car and it's going to say, this car was hit head on. Okay, the impact to this car was to the front. That's what the computer is going to say. Computer doesn't have a mind of its own. It just looks at, it analyzes the information that you give it. And what the police department gave to that independent expert, Stephen Keene, they gave him information that would suggest that Mustafa's car was damaged at the front. It wasn't a T-bone. And that's what they're doing. They want to throw off this investigation. I mean, your own county mechanic says you have brake failure. The county mechanic says there's brake failure.
You're going to love what I just pulled up for you.
And you're not allowed to examine the brakes? I mean, how is that? How is that due process?
Let's hear what Mustafa's defense attorney in a Brady motion is telling prosecutor Sarah Sammy about Mustafa's vehicle. Do me a favor. Go over to exhibit. This is a transcript from October 3rd, 2025. Now that the federal government unsealed the transcript, we can dive into what happened in court. On October 3rd, 2025, this is a transcript where Mustafa's defense attorney is telling Judge Weimer, I'm going to read this portion.
Okay. Oh, let me see.
Is it on the screen?
No, yeah,
okay. Is it pulled up on the screen? Okay.
You said
Brad Haywood.
Okay. That's Brad Haywood.
Brad Haywood. Now Blake Weiner.
Okay.
Brad Haywood.
Okay.
I'm going to call him Blake Haywood. Brad Haywood, the defense attorney that puts in the Brady motion on October 3rd, 2025.
This is the Brady motion. That's what we're looking at.
There's a portion here where prosecutor Sarah Sammy tells Judge Weimer that she allowed the independent expert to reconstruct the vehicle. I mean, we just watched the body cam.
She lied to the judge.
She lied to the judge.
And that's not the first lie, by the way. That's not the first lie. She lied about the kids not talking to the police prior to the forensic psychologist, the CAC, the Child Advocacy Center. She told the judge that no one spoke to the children, yet we have testimony from the children themselves saying that the police spoke to them prior to the forensic interview. But you're saying she told the judge that the previous expert was allowed to inspect the car and there was no restrictions on his inspection, right? I mean, we just watched the body cam where Robert Drum says to the expert and Casey Stevens, he tells them, per my conversation with Sammy, you're not allowed to touch the car. You're not allowed to manipulate anything. You're not allowed to remove the tire. You can only look. You're not allowed to touch anything. And he couldn't even check the oil at the brake reservoir. You know that? They had to do it for him. He could only look. He's not allowed to touch it. And she tells the judge on October 3rd that the expert was given full access.
That's the funny part.
That's what
I
she's
want to
saying?
find the portion that she actually says that.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
While you look for it.
All right. What we're going to do, we're going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to find the portion where prosecutor Sarah Sammy tells the judge, Judge Carol Weimer, that she allowed an independent expert to reconstruct this vehicle accident 2.5 years ago. And Brad Haywood, Mustafa's defense attorney, is telling her, absolutely not. The independent expert was prevented from reconstructing the vehicle. So let me find the portion and we'll come back in 10 minutes. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam, Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope.
Any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where
It is freezing. I mean, you got a giant coat. I'm freezing. This is not another Bar on podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer, you're under the microscope. We have body cams, and we have transcripts that are unsealed, that are now unsealed by the federal government. That verify
You haven't gone over this.
and show. Oh, I'm gonna definitely go over that. That's the what? That's the motion in opposition.
No, motion to withdraw.
We have to put that on the screen. Okay, so we're gonna go over what Brad Haywood put in when he's withdrawing from the case. All right, let's put that on the screen. And then I want to dive into what Prosecutor Sarah Sammy and how Prosecutor Sarah Sammy lie on the record. I mean, unfortunately for her, we have the body cams, and the federal government now unsealed the transcript, and this community can see what this prosecutor has been saying in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. And the question is, I mean, this prosecutor thinks there are no consequences. Well, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, think again, ma'am. In a sealed case, the federal government is now looking into what you've been doing for the past 2.5 years. They've unsealed the transcripts. That's a major breakthrough in the Mustafa Aljazairi case.
Where is Julie Carey again?
Where is Julie Carey
on this finding?
with NBC4? Julie Carey is in the pocket of the police department. She's only here. I mean, you're not going to see Julie Carey. I mean, what is she going to say? Come out and say the truth? She has to talk about the body cams. She has to talk about this prosecutor lying to protect those police officers that falsified this case.
No mention.
But Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, Stephanie Buck, you are a heartbeat away from ending up in federal prison. I mean, and when I say federal prison, I'm not talking about jail, ma'am. I'm talking about jail. Can you imagine Stephanie Buck behind bars? I mean, I find it really interesting. The other day she held, they put in a motion, and as soon as the family walks into the courtroom, she goes up to the judge and she reschedules the hearing.
A status hearing.
I mean, this was 2 days ago.
There was a status hearing a couple of days ago.
I mean, you want to tell me that's normal?
No, it's not. The moment Mustafa's family walks into the courtroom, she shuts her laptop, goes to the judge, says something to him in private, and the hearing is canceled.
And they haven't rescheduled it since.
And it hasn't been scheduled since.
I mean, what did they have to say?
Hearing.
She canceled the hearing. And we just looked at an ex parte So let me pull up. Do me a favor. Go over to exhibits. Go over to exhibits. So this is the ex parte hearing that Judge Carol Weimer held. This is what?
October 22nd.
October 22nd. Okay.
And then 3
Literally,
days later.
Literally, 3 days later. Do me a
To
favor.
withdraw as counsel.
Remove it off of exhibit.
Withdraw as counsel.
This is the motion to withdraw. So what was said in the ex parte motion hearing that Judge Carol Weimer held? I mean, by the way, it's illegal to hold an ex parte hearing. Ex parte is...
This is what you're looking for?
I already pulled it up. It's on the screen. Do me a favor, go over to exhibits.
Oh, no, that's the other thing. This is the opposition.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go over... Okay,
Opposition to Brady?
To Brady.
Yeah, I think you really have to go into that, because she's objecting to the judge granting funds, allowing the experts to come in and examine the dash cam, and then the moment the judge grants the order for the defense to examine the dash cam, to examine the car, she says, "Wait a minute, I want to bring in my own expert too." You just objected to anybody examining this.
Two and a
dash
half
camera.
years. 2.5 years.
That's crazy.
Your digital forensic says that there is audio. You hire a lip reader. You object to hiring an independent expert by the defense.
She objects to anybody looking at the dash camera. Anybody looking at the dash camera, she's objecting to it. Complete objection to anybody touching the dash camera. You're not allowed to touch it because the police already did their job. We don't want any more information out of this dash camera. We don't want any more information out of this car accident. We don't want the data recorded. They don't want nothing. They're satisfied with what Chad Mason did, the tampering he did, the cover-up by Drum, how they're claiming all of a sudden nobody remembers that there was no audio, and then Chad Mason says, what does he say? He says, Sarah Sammy told him there's no audio.
Oh, yeah. He says Sarah Sammy told him.
How?
He's in possession of the dash camera. He's at the scene. He has the dash camera. He says, I took it back to my car.
He put it
I'm
in his
going through the
laptop.
files.
And then she's telling him there's no audio.
That's crazy.
What does that sound like? It almost sounds like, Chad Mason, whatever you do, I don't want audio from this dash camera.
Look, man, look.
I'm going to get a lip reader.
Look, the bottom line is he sat on those files for 2 days. He notified the Commonwealth attorney that he's violating
Amy Ashworth has
the
a
chain
buddy
of
out of
custody.
Richmond that will sign off on a lip reading statement.
2 days later, he decides to get a warrant. Well, today we have a dash camera that has no audio and is cut before impact. 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle.
Look at this.
Funds are put. I mean, here's the problem. A month ago, the judge ordered the reconstruction of the vehicle and the vehicle accident and the extraction of the SD card in the dash camera. He ordered the reconstruction and the extraction. Money is put for the defense attorney to hire an independent expert to extract and reconstruct the vehicle.
I mean, look at this. She went to town on this.
You're talking about the
on this
motion opposition?
Look, 1, 2, 3, 4,
They hold
5.
well before we go
6, 7,
into
8, 9,
before
10,
we go
11.
into that. They hold the judge hold an ex parte
17 pages of her completely refuting and objecting to anybody looking at the dash camera. 17 pages.
We'll go into
Citing like case law after case law after case law, how he's not entitled to it. Nobody should look at it. The chain of custody belongs to the police. This, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden, the judge says, I don't care. I'm going to grant the motion. Brad Haywood, bring your expert.
We're going to give you money. We're going to give
the
you
files.
We're going to give you money for your independent experts.
Extract the files. And then what does Judge Weimer say after saying that? He says, we have to make sure.
To seal off the dash camera from the family.
From the family. He says, we have to make sure that whatever comes out of the dash camera is... There's another protective order similar to the one I placed initially.
Mustafa,
That's what he says.
Mustafa asked his defense attorney, Brad Haywood. He says, Mustafa is waiting for, this is exonerating evidence.
The whole case is built on this.
Mustafa asked his defense attorney, Brad Haywood, he says, what happened with my extraction? What happened with the reconstruction? The lawyer visits Mustafa.
I don't know.
The lawyer tells him, I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Okay, when are you going to get it? I don't know. Are you going to get it? I don't know. Did you already get it? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
The real question is, what took place in the ex parte
with
hearing
Judge Weimer?
With Judge Weimer. Where did Judge Weimer tell this defense attorney that this defense... Do me a favor. Go over to exhibit. I'm going to put this on the screen. Why is Mustafa's defense attorney is now removing himself from the case? I mean, the government gave him money to extract the SD cards, the audio, and the full dash camera, and reconstruct this vehicle accident. They gave him money for the independent expert. All of a sudden, an ex parte hearing is held, and now the lawyer is not updating Mustafa with the extraction or the reconstruction, and he's removing himself from the case. Was he threatened? That's a real good question.
That's a real good question. Was he threatened by the judge?
Let's read this document.
Or the police?
Let's read this document. This document is put in...
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right there.
This document is put into Mustafa's file. Okay, so it says...
3 days after the ex parte...
3 days after the ex parte hearing with Judge Carol Weimer. Come now, counsel the defendant, Mustafa Aljazairi, and ask to withdraw from the above reference matter. Please take notice on blah, 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 this day, blah, blah, blah. Okay, in support of this motion, counsel state as follows. Mustafa Aljazairi has been unjustly accused of murder. Unjustly accused of murder. That's what Brad Haywood is saying about Mustafa, which was the product of a deeply biased and flawed investigation and violation of Aljazairi constitutional right.
A myriad violation.
A myriad violation of Aljazairi constitutional right. Undersigned counsel firmly believe that Mr. Aljazairi is innocent.
So if that's the case,
Wait a minute.
That's the case.
You believe that Mustafa is innocent and the police has a bias and botched up this whole investigation. Why are you withdrawing from this case? What are you talking about? Number 2 says, regrettably, there has been a complete and irreparable breakdown in communication between counsel and Mr. Aljazairi, which prevent counsel from providing effective, zealous representation, as is Mr. Aljazairi's Sixth Amendment right. What are you talking about? All Mustafa asked you is, where's my reconstruction and where's my extraction for the SD card?
Where's the full video from my dash camera?
Where's the full video from my dash camera? Where's the audio? What is the reconstruction?
We know it's there.
The money gave you money. Where is the reconstruction and the extraction? You're talking about a breakdown in communication? I mean, that's the most basic thing you can ask in this case.
I call BS.
So you hold a meeting, an ex parte hearing with the judge. By the way, it's illegal.
Hold on. Before you go into
It's illegal.
Before you go into illegal, why don't you pull up the thing I just texted you? Pull up your text.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read that. We're going to talk about, are ex parte meetings legal in a criminal matter?
I mean, they held a meeting without Mustafa. Mustafa doesn't. I mean, if we didn't pull this up, by the way, if we didn't pull up this document, if we didn't go in there and look that, hey,
there's ex parte conversations happening.
Mustafa wouldn't know. They didn't bring Mustafa into the court. His lawyer didn't tell him. They held a meeting without Mustafa. How is that legal? You're telling me you're going to charge Mustafa
with a crime. And you're going to have backdoor conversations with the judge.
Backdoor conversation with the judge.
Private conversations.
I mean, exonerating evidence that are going to come forward that show they've lied about you. They've lied about this whole entire case.
And the lawyer has it, by the way. The courts has the evidence. They have the official dash cam video with the audio. They have the full data from both vehicles. They have the reinspection.
What if I tell you
all that's been done?
What if I tell you they've had Mustafa's dash camera since day one?
100%.
Okay, and I'll tell you how.
She had it.
I'll tell you how. By the way, before we go into this, I want to show you something really quick. This is gonna really throw you off. Brad Haywood, Blake Weiner, Mustafa's previous defense attorney. Now that the transcript is unsealed, I mean, when you read that, it shows you a lot of details that we missed. At the time, Blake Weiner, prosecutor Sarah Sammy gave Blake Weiner a flash drive.
Okay.
She said, this is not in the server, evidence.com, the police department server.
It's only on a flash drive.
It's only on a flash drive. at the time, there's another defense attorney, Elaine Jarvis. Blake Weiner says that I gave this flash drive to Elaine Jarvis, and she was going to review it to help him with his case.
Yep,
she was co-chair in this whole entire case.
She was going to volunteer.
Now,
And
she
help
was going to
him.
volunteer, right? Well, in this transcript, Blake Weiner is telling Judge Carol Weimer, the presiding judge, that, Your Honor, we're 12 days away from trial because Mustafa was scheduled to trial back in December.
Yeah, it was about a week, a little bit over a week before trial.
So, in this transcript, the lawyer, Mustafa's defense attorney, is telling judge we're 12 days away from trial, and this defense attorney, Elaine Jarvis, didn't go through the hard drive. He said, Your Honor, I didn't go through the hard drive. I was depending on her to go through the hard drive.
She didn't go through it.
And then he started telling Judge Weimer what's on this hard drive. He says,
Interesting.
I mean, do me a favor, pull up the transcript on the screen. So this is November 2024. The data extraction from multiple cell phones. So from Mustafa's cell phone, from Dorsey's cell phone, Dorsey has 2 other cell phones. And so the police department, the prosecutor, put all of it on a hard drive and gave it to Blake Weiner, Mustafa's defense attorney. 2 individuals in the case who have passed, as well as, I believe, like a 3rd family phone. There might even be a 4th phone, but it's multiple cell phone, as well as, I believe, all of the data. Oh, I'm sorry. Also, one of the cell phone for my client. And also the data extraction from the dash camera that was part of this case. Wait a minute.
Wait, what?
Extraction from the dash camera that was part of this case? Why would
Is
the
on
dash
this drive?
camera be on the drive?
Why would it be on the
so
drive?
wait a minute. When they extracted Mustafa's cell phone,
The dash cam
the
video.
dash camera video
is
is
also
on the cell phone. Why is that? Well, there's a body cam where Robert Drum
is asking Rexing.
is asking Rexon, the company that manufactured the dash camera. He says, is there any way that anybody can access this dash camera through an app?
Through the cloud.
Through the clouds? Apparently, this dash camera is so sophisticated that it has an app on Mustafa's cell phone that
Automatically uploads the video.
uploads the dash camera to the cell phone. Wait a minute. So you're telling me you've had Mustafa's dash camera on his cell phone the whole entire time? So when you're talking about Chad Mason, who testified that I took the dash camera off the windshield back to my car, I downloaded the files, I violated the chain of custody, and instead of giving it to digital forensic, I took it, sat on it for 2 days. I notified the prosecutor. She told me it doesn't have audio. Wait a minute. Whoa. She told you it doesn't have audio? 2 days later, how? You're in possession of the dash camera. Oh, she told you remove the audio. That's why, in a Brady motion, the prosecutor says it's dangerous to release my communication with the police officer. It's dangerous to release my communication with the alleged witnesses.
It's dangerous to probe into the police conversations.
What you find is the prosecutor is communicating with police officer, coaching police officer on how to remove, delete, and fabricate evidence. Behind closed doors. I mean, it's going to show in our communication. If she had nothing to hide, why would she tell Judge Weimer? I mean, Brad Hayward, Mustafa's defense attorney, was asking for the communication, and she says it's dangerous. And Judge Carol Weimer, the presiding judge, says, I'm denying the release of her communication. Look, the point that I'm trying to make, is Chad Mason cut and muted this dash camera. But there's an app on Mustafa's cell phone.
Yeah, it's called Rexing.
It's called Rexon. They've had Mustafa's dash camera since day one. Now, how does it make sense? Blake Haywood, Mustafa's defense attorney.
Blake Haywood.
Blake Weiner, Mustafa's defense attorney.
Here it is, by the way.
Look, you're talking about Mustafa's first defense attorney, Mustafa's second defense attorney, Mustafa's third defense attorney. No one wants to look into that flash drive.
Don't put that up.
Do you see what I'm talking about? No one looked into. That's the app.
That's the Rexing app. It says Wi-Fi, unpaired camera. My car is right there. So my camera is paired to my cell phone. I have to unpair it if I want to disconnect it.
No one is looking into. I mean, I asked Brad Haywood. I said, Brad, did you look into Mustafa's drive? The prosecutor gave you a drive. He says, not yet.
Not yet.
We have time. You sat on Mustafa's case for a whole entire year, and you didn't go through.
I was just going to say that. So Blake, Elaine, Casey Stevens, till this day, till today, no one has spoken about this flash drive. This flash drive with the dash cam apparently on it, with the phone data, and the government paid the government paid Brad Haywood $100,000. They gave him a private investigator, okay, who's dedicated to investigating for the attorney, right? I mean, think about this. The government paid unlimited access for Mustafa's attorney and a private investigator, okay? And nobody went through the cell phone data? And when Mustafa says, hey, why don't you print the information off and give it to me? I'm sitting in solitary confinement. I'll go through it and I'll tell you if there's anything that I find. And they say, no, we're not going to give you the phone data. We're not going to give you material that you're entitled to. Okay, then that's fine. You're not going to give it to me. Brad, did you go through my phone data? I don't think there's anything important in it. What do you mean? You don't think there's anything? Amar, think about it. The police
are
took the phone.
Yeah.
They took the phone.
Yeah.
They ran it through an app, through a warrant, and they extracted every message, every app, every single thing that's ever been done with this phone. And Dorothy's 3 other phones, okay? They did that to all these phones. They took the time to take this, according to Blake Weiner, it's close to a terabyte of information.
That's what that's what Blake Weiner is saying the transcript.
It's in a discovery file, okay? And the lawyer never went through it. Okay, that's fine. I understand. You're a busy man. You have a lot of clients. You're court appointed. They claim they get paid pennies on the dollar. Okay, that's fine. Well, the government paid for your private investigator. Did you give this to the private investigator to look through? No. We asked the private investigator, did you look at Mustafa's phone data? No. Well, according to the prosecutor, Mustafa and Dorothy were arguing. According to Robert Drum, Mustafa was in an abusive relationship. So at the bare minimum, the text messages between Dorothy and Mustafa and how they communicate is relevant here. Mustafa says Dorothy, Apple paid him $25, okay, right after they left the apartment. If the prosecutor is alleging Mustafa was arguing with Dorothy, why would she send him money? If you're arguing with somebody, why would you send them money? Okay, I mean, that's information you get off the cell phone data. And you want to tell me Brad Haywood, Blake Weiner, Elaine Jarvis, the private investigator, they're not going through the phone data and they're telling Mustafa, look away, leave this out of it. Leave the phone data out of it, okay? Every time Mustafa brings up the phone data, somebody gets irritated. The real question is, in order to formulate a defense for Mustafa, according to the allegations from the prosecutor, who's alleging Mustafa's abusive and that he was arguing that day. Okay, the phone data is very relevant here.
Why is this flash drive not uploaded to the server of the police department?
Exactly.
Why is it in a separate file?
It's a separate hard drive that the prosecutor has to put in the mail and mail it to you. It's nowhere on the server. Nowhere. You checked. It's nowhere near the server.
It's not in the server. It's not in the police department server.
So what is so terrifying?
Do me a favor. Go over to Exhibit. Let me read this for you.
What's terrifying about this flash drive?
I mean, this is Blake Weiner, and what he says, he's telling Judge Weimer, I took the flash drive that the prosecutor gave me, the 1 terabyte. I FedExed it to her, to Elaine. There's a motion that we filed at some point with the specific date on it. I don't recall it off the top of my head. I believe it was at least a month ago. To this point, never heard anything from Ms. Jarvis on her review of it. She's now gone and not on this case, and I don't even have the hard drive.
He doesn't even have the hard drive.
So he said, I shipped the hard drive to the second chair, Elaine Jarvis, and I just asked Ms. Jarvis, and she said, I'll FedEx it to you. So wait a minute. They're playing hot potato with this.
Let me point this out.
Let me
point this out. Let me point this out. Blake Weiner says he FedExed it to Elaine Jarvis, right? Elaine Jarvis was visited by the Virginia State Police.
That's right.
Did they take Mustafa's drive with them? When they came into our office, did they take Mustafa's drive with them?
Well, I have Elaine.
What's on this drive? What is so significant on this drive that the Virginia State Police is going to enter a lawyer's office and purge data from her computers?
I have Elaine in Warren County on the stand. By the way, I have a recording of what she said on the stand, and we'll play it. We'll go over it. Elaine Jarvis said Virginia State Police
entered her office
and purged
all the data related to Mustafa.
So wait a minute. So we're looking at 2.5 years. You have a file
of police misconduct, by the way. Misconduct.
What are they hiding in the Mustafa Aljazairi case? I mean, from what this defense attorney is talking about, Mustafa's dash camera is on it. So you have Chad Mason testify to cutting and muting the dash camera. You have the government putting money for an independent expert to extract the SD card that they say that it does have audio. And you come and find out that the dash camera, the whole entire time, is on Mustafa's cell phone. I mean, the lawyer is running away. What happened in this ex parte conversation with Judge Weimer that now the lawyer says, I'm withdrawing from the case?
We can conclude that he was threatened.
I mean, he says Mustafa's innocent. So wait a minute. If you believe that your client is innocent, exonerating evidence is going to come forward and show that your client is innocent. Why are you not filing a bond?
Exactly. Why not file a bond?
Instead, you're going to withdraw from the case? I mean, and you say miscommunication. What miscommunication? I mean, you sat on Mustafa's case for a whole entire year. You didn't say there is miscommunication.
The whole year.
The minute Mustafa asks you,
where's the data from my dash camera?
Where is the data from my dash camera? Where is the reconstruction?
The government paid for.
Where is the reconstruction from my vehicle accident?
Where's the steering angle from my car and the SUV? Where is the steering angle? Where is it?
I want to show you. I mean, this transcript being unsealed by the federal government is huge because we can. There is a transcript here. I want to read to you where. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy says that she allowed the independent expert to reconstruct the vehicle. This is it. Do me a favor. Can you put on exhibit? Yeah. All right, so
it's too small.
It's too small. I'm gonna make it bigger. Is that better? Mm-hmm. All right. All right. So Miss Sammy, Sarah Sammy, Sarah Sammy says, my understanding. So in the lower court, when Mrs. Stephen was counsel of record for Mr. Aljazairi, I set up a time with the police department to allow Mr. Stevens, Mustafa's defense attorney at the time, Casey Stevens, and an expert that had been hired by him to come and inspect each of the vehicle at the impound lot. Wow. Are you reading what Prosecutor Sarah Sammy says?
She told the judge that.
Okay, what if I show you a body cam that she's lying on the record?
Read that again. I set up a time.
My understanding, so in the lower court, when Mr. Stevens was counsel of record for Mr. Aljazairi, I set up a time with the police department to allow Mr. Stevens, Mustafa's defense attorney, and an expert that had been hired by him to come and inspect each of the vehicles at the impound lot.
Each of the vehicles.
Okay, all right. Let me show you a body cam where Sarah Sammy, I mean, what is the consequences for a prosecutor to lie to a judge? Let me show you a body cam where Sarah Sammy blocked the reconstruction.
She flat out lied to the judge right there. she set up a time for Casey Stevens and Stephen Keene, the expert hired by Mustafa,
There we go.
to examine the car. Let's
All right.
see what he says.
By the way, I'm going to play multiple portions of this body cam because multiple time investigator Robert Trump tells Mustafa's defense attorney
And the
expert, Sarah Sammy, the prosecutor Sarah Sammy said, you cannot reconstruct this vehicle. You cannot touch this vehicle. How is he going to reconstruct the vehicle? Listen.
What's that?
Which one is
It's
it?
in a box. Per my conversation with Sarah, said this is the first time I've ever done this in 18 years. She said we can pull it out for you.
Yeah.
You can look at it. She doesn't want anybody touching it.
Okay.
Like
you-
touching it, I mean, can I?
Like if you want to take pictures
Yeah.
and all that, but if anything needs to be manipulated, we'll do it for
Okay,
you
perfect.
for chain of custody issues.
Perfect.
Sure.
Okay.
But yeah, you're more than welcome to like poke around.
Yeah.
But nothing gets moved,
Gotcha,
changed,
gotcha.
or anything
Perfect.
like that.
According to
Did y'all,
Sammy.
did y'all already pull the?
According to Sammy. Okay, let me show you another clip where they tell the independent experts. I mean, what is this? This is Mustafa's car?
So a
They
good portion.
take a little tree off?
completely
Absolutely.
crushed the vehicle.
I mean, there's nothing left of that car.
They only want the independent expert to scan the vehicle after they crushed it,
And he's
after
not
they
allowed-
staged it.
He's not allowed to look at the other car. She just said in her statement, she allowed Casey Stevens and the expert to examine both vehicles. That's a lie. You just got caught red-handed lying on the record to the judge. Even though he's corrupt, you lied to the judge.
I'm going to show you where they tell the independent expert you cannot touch the other vehicle.
Can't even look
She
at
just
it.
said you can't even look at
You
it.
can't even look at it. Not just touch. He's not even allowed to go near it. And this is a sealed body cam, which means nobody could verify really if this happened or not, unless you go and steal the video from the Commonwealth attorney. Which, I mean, to your credit, if you didn't steal this video,
You can't verify that the prosecutor is lying.
you really can't verify that Sarah Sammy's lying. You can't. You just can't verify it. She lies to the judge, and this is not the first time. This is a common theme with this prosecutor. She proffers,
There we go.
lies.
I mean, listen
All
to
her
this.
proffers are flat out lies.
I mean, listen to this.
Let's
Let's
take a listen.
I'll look at the master cylinder and all that. So I don't know. You want to take the caps off or what do you want to do?
What would you like?
I don't care.
You tell me what you need.
I need to get
Take
to
the
the master
caps
cylinder
off.
back there. Let's play an access port right there.
He's not even allowed to take the cap off.
Should be, right?
Hey, RJ. Did you grab the camera?
I mean, like, you know how comical this is? That they're acting
Artie,
like
you grab
you're not
the
allowed
camera?
to touch the cap.
Can you grab the camera?
You're not allowed to touch the cap when the fucking car is crushed.
Photograph, we gotta take this.
Excuse my language, but the car is crushed. There's nothing left of the car, and you're worried about the little
Yeah,
cap? That's what you're worried about, the cap?
Okay. What? No, no. Never mind, you're good. You're
I
good.
didn't know if you need a picture.
I'm glad you came out from the tent.
Can I take the cover off?
Yes,
Top
sir.
off.
Yes.
Like some people kill
What do you mean? You completely crushed the car.
They're worried about the top, the little cap.
You don't mind if I stick my head in there, do you?
Nope.
Be careful, you don't want to manipulate the evidence. You don't want the expert to manipulate the evidence.
I mean, they completely crushed the car, removed the Leica scan. They won't let him touch the vehicle.
There's nothing left
They're
of
staging-
that car.
they're
There's
staging
nothing
the
left
car.
of it. There's nothing left
They,
of that
they
car.
want him to scan a staged vehicle, so that way when you go in front of a judge, in front of a jury,
I mean, you think Casey Stevens doesn't know what's going on here? Casey Stevens?
Of course.
He knows exactly what's going on here.
What if I tell you Judge Weimer blocked whatever data that this independent expert was able to collect? Judge Weimer blocked it from having the new defense attorney that he blocked him from getting it. I have the transcript.
So the judge is also prosecuting this case.
Can I press the brake?
Judge Weimer is also prosecuting.
Listen, look. This is.
I don't see why not.
I just want you to lose this.
Y'all done up top?
I think so, yeah. Am I allowed to pull wheels off?
Am I allowed to take the wheels off? Listen to what Robert Drum tells the independent expert. By the way, there's a judge order to reconstruct the vehicle.
That's your call.
He's asking the prosecutor.
This is Prosecutor Mallet. This is another prosecutor, and he's going to tell him this
It's
is
your
Prosecutor
call.
Mallet.
He says it's
So
your
Robert
call.
Drum, the investigator that falsified Mustafa's statement, is asking this prosecutor, Prosecutor Mallet, and then
Are you going to allow him to take the tires off?
Yeah, and then he tells him, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy says, you're not allowed to take anything off or touch the vehicle. Listen.
Interesting.
Or just, oh, look at that. One or the other, if I can.
If I may ask what you're looking at.
I'm just looking at the brakes.
Okay.
That's what I want to look at.
Can we pick it up? Can we pick it up with
The tow bed?
the tow bed?
I'm sure we've got a jack. Huh?
It's not like
Oh, grab one.
that.
Should be able to.
I would say leave the wheel on. Sarah said she doesn't want anything manipulated. I don't mind a cap coming off to looking at something, but taking a wheel off.
No.
Did you hear what Robert
can't-
Drum just
you-
said?
you-
He
look,
says Sarah Sammy,
can't take the wheel off.
Prosecutor Sarah Sammy said that you can't take the wheel off. She doesn't want anything manipulated.
Go back to the transcript. I mean, let's check it.
Do me a favor, remove it off.
Let's check Prosecutor Sammy in real time. Okay? Robert Drum, this is the second time that Robert Drum says, Sarah Sammy says, you're not allowed to touch the car.
By the way, before we go to the transcript, I want to let you hear this portion.
Let's go. Yeah, let's
because
keep
he
going.
blocks the Suburban, the other vehicle, from getting
Let's
scanned.
do that.
Am I allowed to take pictures of the other vehicle?
No.
Okay.
Am I allowed to take pictures of the other vehicle? Pictures.
You can't even take pictures of the other car. Forget scanning it.
It's like, no.
Forget inspecting it. You can't even take pictures of the other vehicle.
It's off limits. It's off limits.
I'm going to go back to the transcript where Prosecutor Sarah Sammy is telling Judge Carol Weimer, the presiding judge,
that she allowed
who's
access
supposed to be impartial in
to
this
both
case,
vehicles.
that she allowed him access
To both vehicles. Let's take a look.
All right. Sammy, prosecutor Sarah Sammy says, my understanding, so it's in the lower. You want to make it bigger?
Can you zoom in on that?
Of course I can zoom in on this. Been waiting for 2.5 years for this exact moment.
Okay, what does she say? My understanding.
So in the lower court, when Mr. Stevens was counsel of record for Mr. Aljazairi, I set up a time with the police department to allow Mr. Stevens and an expert that had been hired by him to come and inspect each of the vehicles at the impound lot.
Each of the vehicles.
There's a judge order to reconstruct the vehicle. I mean, this is a sealed body cam. If it wasn't for accessing the server, entering evidence.com, the police department server. I mean, this case is sealed. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, Commonwealth.
If it wasn't for that video that you just played that you stole,
you can't verify.
There's no way you can verify
that this prosecutor is lying on the record.
There's no way.
I mean, and the real question is, why is the prosecutor blocking the reconstruction of the vehicle? I mean, are you not You've been telling this community that Mustafa intentionally drove his vehicle.
It's one thing to
lie
about it.
And that this is not an accident. Wait a minute. She says this is not an accident. So why is the prosecutor blocking the reconstruction?
It's one thing to lie about it.
You've got Mustafa in solitary for 2.5 years, asking for the reconstruction of this whole entire. I mean, and the prosecutor is blocking the reconstruction.
Look,
it's not adding up
again,
here.
It's one thing to lie about it. Okay, it's one thing to lie about not giving access. It's another thing to say, I don't think he should get access. That's not what she's saying here. She's specifically instructing the officers not to give access, even though a judge already granted it. The judge already said, go examine this car. Defense, you have the right to examine this car. They get to the lot, and then the police and the prosecutor stand there.
By the way,
specifically, Sarah Sammy says you're not allowed. Now, he's not saying the Commonwealth attorney objects to it. He's not saying the prosecutor is not allowing it. He says no. Specifically, Sarah Sammy says no. He says, can I take pictures of the other car? No. No pictures. You're not even allowed to touch it. And on the record, this is just the other day in October. She says, Your Honor, we allowed the expert to examine the car. We allowed this and that. You're a liar. You're a liar, and you got caught red-handed. Red-handed.
The federal government unsealed the transcript in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. The body cams are on the internet. Now we can verify what this prosecutor is doing in the Mustafa Aljazairi case.
They're looking at a judge who's actively performing misconduct. He's actively not being impartial. He's actively practicing law from the bench. You look at, that one transcript when he's asking Stephanie Buck about prior bad acts, okay? And that was October 31st, by the way. That's a very long transcript. He's asking her over and over and over, and she's so stupid. She can't grasp what he's asking. And eventually, Judge Weimer answers the question for her. Therefore, Judge, you are now practicing law from the bench. You are actively prosecuting this case. That's, by the way, that's
that's misconduct in the courtroom.
That's one thing. And then when you look at what's happening today, money was given to the lawyer to extract the most crucial pieces of information out of this case. The dash camera and the reconstruction. And then there's an ex parte meeting that takes place with the lawyer, and the lawyer withdraws. And he says, hey, before I leave, I just want to say my piece. Mustafa is innocent, and the police botched this investigation. This whole thing is falsified, and I'm out. I'm leaving. That's what he says. Okay? That's what the lawyer says. What was said in the ex parte communication? We know this judge, by the way. This judge is not impartial. We know that this judge is not ruling based on the rule of law.
You don't have to take our word for that he's not impartial. Now we have the transcript unsealed.
You can read it for yourself
by the federal government.
You can read it for yourself.
We're going to go into details. We're going to go into details. We're going to have more podcasts. We're going to take a deep dive into what went on in the courtroom in the Mustafa Aljazairi case? What did Judge Weimer
Judicial
say?
misconduct. That's what it
Judicial
is.
misconduct. What did Prosecutor Sarah Sammy say? What did Prosecutor Stephanie Buck been saying for the past 2.5
This judge
years?
gave Mustafa a $5,000 bond. Imagine, that's $500 that you pay, and Mustafa's free. That's what this judge gave Mustafa, only to take it back. And if you look at, by the way, I'll say this whole thing with the $5,000 bond was pre-planned, because at the time, when Mustafa was sitting there next to Blake, and the judge says, I'm giving a $5,000 bond, I'm setting $5,000 bond, and Blake Weiner looks at Mustafa and tells him, he whispers to him, it's not over yet. It's not over.
Well, now,
what do you mean?
Now we can take a deep dive into what went on.
What did Blake know
Now that
at the
we
time?
have the transcript.
What did Blake know at the time to whisper to Mustafa, just because the judge just granted you bond, doesn't mean it's over. It's not over. And then a week later, he takes it.
You know what I find really interesting?
Like, come on now.
I mean, you have a bond motion. You have a bond motion where the prosecutor says, Your Honor, I have 2 separate forensic interviews where the children, a 9, a 10, a 14, says that Mustafa, they are saying negative things about Mustafa. Wait a minute. Well, the forensic interview is sealed. When you open the forensic interview, you find out that one of the children is talking about that the police told him that Mustafa ran away, left their baby sister to bleed to
They
death.
abused the children.
If Mustafa hadn't ran away, they could have saved his 5-year-old baby sister. What are you talking about?
That's
Mustafa
what detectives are telling the kids.
That's what detectives are telling a 14-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old. Mustafa was in a coma. So why would investigator Romero tell a 9, a 10, a 14 that Mustafa ran away, left your baby sister to bleed to death? They're weaponizing the children.
And the prosecutor lied about it the other day.
The prosecutor lied about it. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, on the record, I have the transcripts.
How many times?
In a Brady motion, she tells Judge Weimer, Your Honor, the only time the children were spoken to is inside the forensic interview.
With the CAC.
With the CAC.
Child
Wait a minute.
Advocacy Center.
Wait a minute. The child is talking about that investigator Romero told him a bunch of lies.
Where's Romero's body cam?
Where is the body cam from Romero? So, I mean, here's the deal. The prosecutor lies about the children. The police department weaponized the children. The prosecutor lies about the reconstruction of the vehicle accident.
Allowing access. She lied about that. She lied about a lot of things, really. I mean, one of the most crucial lies in this case, I think, happened in August of 2023 in a bond hearing. By the way, that's still sealed till this day. That bond hearing is still sealed. And she tells the judge.
But even if it's sealed,
you wonder why it's sealed.
I have the audio.
You wonder why it's sealed.
I have the audio to the hearing. What are we talking about?
It's because she said to the judge that Mustafa gave Jason Nance brain injury.
Where's
after
the body
crashing
cam
his
from
car.
Jason Nance?
Where's the body cam from Jason Nance? You have a video of Jason Nance saying, I never said any of that to the police. They're lying in my name.
Did you know that? Investigator Davis talked to Dorothy's half brother before he sat down with investigator Romero in the police department?
Look,
where's the body cam from
Davis.
that conversation?
Yeah, where is it?
I mean, I have here.
I mean, they're sending a subpoena to Derek, Dorothy's half brother. Okay, where is the conversation from that? You want to put it up on screen?
Yeah. I called and spoke to Mr. Cizinki, who identified himself as the brother of Miss Fontaine. He advised that he and Miss Fontaine shared a mother in common. Where's the body cam from that conversation? This is Investigator Davis.
Where is it?
On April 6th. Where's the body cam from April 6th when you talked to the brother? What did you tell the brother? Did you weaponize the brother who said, by the way, I have another body cam?
Clearly says,
by the way,
I never met Mustafa. I don't know. I didn't even know she was going with a Mustafa.
In the case file, there is an audio from when this brother was inside the police department, but the body cam from that conversation is nowhere to be found. Look, and that's what Mustafa's defense attorney said at the time. There's a lot of body cams that are missing from Mustafa's
completely
case.
missing. Completely missing. I mean, there's a
crucial.
By the way,
crucial body cams.
You say, how do you know it's missing? There's clearly a reference to the body cams we're talking about. There's a reference to them, but they're nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
There's a reference to them.
I mean, when you watch those body cams, all of a sudden you see the body cam gets cut,
Look,
and then it starts off in another body cam,
randomly
in another body cam,
without the blind being pressed, just randomly, just magically starts recording, as if like Sarah Sammy.
Where is the body
camera
cam?
has a mind of its own.
Sarah Sammy says, I turned everything over to the defense.
And then turns around to Internal Affairs Captain Doodley and tells him what? What did she tell him?
I'm not going to release anything.
They're not getting anything else.
Getting anything.
And she's laughing with him.
She's laughing with him.
She's laughing with Internal Affairs. When you just told the judge, by the way, you just told the judge, I'm going to look into it, Your Honor. I'm going to go and see if there's any more information. I'm going to make sure I look. And then you turn around and laugh with Internal Affairs, saying, I'm not releasing anything else. I've already given them everything. I'm not even looking. And she's laughing it off with Internal Affairs. You are actively lying to the judge. And if this judge is not going to do anything about it,
well, she's comfortable.
Clearly, he's having ex parte communication behind closed doors. So is he going to punish her for lying? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if he's even. I don't even know if he's the judge of the courtroom. Really,
to be honest with you, she's comfortable because he blocked the release of her communication with the police.
He blocked it.
They're in a Brady motion. That's what Mustafa's defense attorney was asking for. He wanted the communication with the prosecutor and the police, the prosecutor and the alleged witnesses. I mean, you have an investigation that's botched up, biased against Mustafa.
Deleted evidence, manipulated evidence, tampered with evidence, tampered with witnesses,
Look,
deleted witness
The bottom line is, I mean, you have a defense attorney that the government gave over $100,000 to. Sat on Mustafa's case for a whole entire year.
A whole year he sat on it. And all of a sudden today, he wakes up and says...
Exonerating evidence is supposed to come forward. The vehicle gets reconstructed. The dash camera gets extracted. And all of a sudden, he wants to say, Mustafa's innocent.
I can't communicate with him.
But I can't communicate with him. Wait a minute. Is it maybe Mustafa's asking you, where are the results?
Where are the results?
All of a sudden, you can't communicate with Mustafa?
I mean, his response is,
after
I don't know.
His response is literally, I don't know. I mean, you're telling your client,
by the way,
I don't know. What do you mean? There's a judge order and the government is giving you money for the independent expert to extract and reconstruct.
He's working for Mustafa. By law, Mustafa has the right to a defense. Mustafa has the right to an attorney. Your attorney should be working for you.
All of a sudden,
and he's not.
But here's what's. I mean,
he's not working for him.
They're holding an ex parte. I'm gonna go over.
I think
what you sent me earlier.
He clearly is working for Mustafa, but there is something in the way. Something is stopping this lawyer from moving forward. Something is stopping him. I mean, can we say ex parte? Something is happening behind closed doors that we don't know about, that this lawyer is so aggressive. He's so aggressive coming onto this case with Brady motions, with motions to extract evidence that's been deleted, that's been hidden by the county. Police tampered with his dash camera, and he's going after it. And then all of a sudden, he puts the brakes on the case. He says, look, he's innocent. I'm out of here. That's it. I'm done.
I mean, this is literally in the filing.
That's crazy.
Do me a favor, go over to exhibits.
I mean, that's crazy.
This is literally in the filing.
You go to Prince William County, you look up CR case number, CR 23002167-00, and you're going to find that. It's sealed.
3 days later.
It's sealed.
They hold an ex parte conversation, an ex parte motion, without Mustafa.
Without Mustafa's knowledge.
And all of a sudden, 3 days later,
he says, I'm out of here. I'm withdrawing.
He says, Mustafa's defense attorney, Mustafa Aljazairi, has been unjustly accused of murder. 3 days after that motion, Mustafa Aljazairi has been unjustly, let me make it bigger. What happened?
Just checking something.
All right, so this is a little bit bigger. Is that better? All right. Mustafa's defense attorney withdraws from the case 3 days after the ex parte motion. Without Mustafa, the judge, Judge Carol Weimer, holds an ex parte motion without Mustafa.
Without his knowledge.
They don't notify Mustafa.
Without his knowledge, yeah.
And then also, 3 days later, Mustafa's defense attorney puts in a motion. He says Mustafa Aljazairi has been unjustly accused of murder. unjustly accused of murder, which was the product of a deeply biased and flawed investigation and merit violation of Aljazairi constitutional rights. Undersigned, counsel firmly believed in Mr. Aljazairi's innocence. That Mustafa is innocent.
If anybody has seen everything in this case, it's Brad Haywood. He's seen it all. He's investigated it. He's looked at it. He's extracted. And that's the result.
And then he says, regrettably, there has been a complete and irreparable breakdown in the communication between Mr. Aljazairi, which prevent counsel from providing effective, zealous representation, as in Aljazairi. 6 a.m. I mean, what does Mustafa ask you?
Where's my dash camera that the government paid you to get? Where is the results of my car reinspection that the government paid you to get? Where is my phone data that the government extracted and I'm entitled to? Where is my discovery? How am I supposed to prepare for trial? If you're telling me, I don't know. If you tell me, I don't know.
Take it off exhibit. Let me go over.
I mean,
is it legal to have?
Is it legal to have ex parte
communications
in a criminal case?
All right.
That's the legal question. I mean, that's the legal question of the night.
And we'll end it with this.
Let's put it up on the screen. Are ex parte meetings legal in a criminal matter? Okay. I can't see from here.
Okay, I can read it. Ex parte meeting, private communication with a judge by one side without the other side present, are generally prohibited in criminal matters. Prohibited. In criminal matter due to fairness and due process requirement, both federally and in Virginia. There are, however, rare exceptions for emergency or procedural issues, such as urgent restraining orders. But even then, such orders are only temporary until both sides can be heard. Definition and legal basis. In criminal law, ex parte communication refer to any discussion about the case between the judge and the party or attorney outside the presence of the opposing side lawyer, and these are nearly always forbidden except in extreme limited circumstances. The Supreme Court of Virginia and the Virginia Canon of Judicial Conduct bar judges from...
Canon is the rules for the judges that they have to abide by. It's like the professional conduct that they have to maintain in order to stay impartial, in order to be fair, in order for the party to get due process.
So the Supreme Court of Virginia and the Virginia Canon of Judicial Conduct bar judges from initiating, permitting, or considering ex parte contact about pending cases.
They bar them from doing that.
So wait a minute.
They're not allowed.
So why are they holding ex parte hearing in the Mustafa Aljazairi case?
This is not the only one. I'll tell you right now, this is not the only ex parte hearing that took place in Mustafa's case. It looks like Judge Weimer had ex parte communications with the other lawyers that withdrew. So the real question becomes, what is Judge Weimer telling these lawyers right before they withdraw? I mean, Mark Williams came onto the case.
The bottom line is...
Look, Mark Williams and John Clark came onto this case and they said, we're going to defend your brother. We are tasked with defending your brother. Okay? We need the discovery. They get the discovery.
Yep.
There's an ex parte communication with the judge, and then they withdraw. That's crazy.
I mean, look, the bottom line is...
Draw your own conclusion.
The bottom line is Commonwealth Amy Ashworth for the past 2.5 years sealed off this case. And you have a prosecutor Sarah Sammy, and prosecutor Stephanie Buck, on the record that's been lying about Mustafa for 2.5 years. Well, unfortunately for them, their server is hacked. Evidence.com, the police department server is hacked.
It's no longer sealed.
It's no longer sealed. Evidence.com, I've accessed it, and I'm releasing the body cams and the files in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. And unfortunately for this prosecutor Sarah Sammy and prosecutor Stephanie Buck, the federal government has stepped in. 15 days ago, the federal government is filing and unsealed the transcripts in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Everything that prosecutor Sarah Sammy and prosecutor Stephanie Buck has said, everything the judge has said, the transcript is now unsealed. They're looking into the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Now, you can threaten Mustafa, defense attorney Brad Haywood, but Brad Haywood is going to have to answer for the $100,000 that he took from the government. It's one thing that Casey Stevens, the previous defense attorney, that took $55,000 from me. That's one thing.
It's one
But
thing
when you're taking money from the
government.
government, you're going to have to answer for what you've done in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. You said on Mustafa Aljazairi, Brad Haywood, you said on Mustafa's case for a whole entire year, the judge ordered the reconstruction of Mustafa's vehicle. The judge ordered the extraction of Mustafa's dash camera, the audio and the full dash camera. The government gave you $100,000 for independent expert to reconstruct and extract Mustafa's dash camera, to reconstruct Mustafa's vehicle accident.
By the way, information
You're going to
is
have
there.
to.
Information that we have evidence is there.
You're going to have to answer and telling and saying that Mustafa is innocent, but there is miscommunication is not good enough.
It's not good enough.
We're patient people, and we're going to continue to update the community on what is going on in the Mustafa Aljazairi case, and we're patient. Now, the federal government is looking into this case. It's not a secret anymore. I mean, you don't get transcript unsealed. I mean, we know Amy Ashworth's not unsealing these transcripts.
Oh, for sure.
She's
definitely not unsealing that.
She sealed off this case. So, the transcripts are getting unsealed. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy,
All I'm gonna say
Prosecutor
is-
Stephanie Buck, your days are numbered.
Your days of lying are numbered.
Your days of lying are numbered.
If you think you can get away with
you're gonna
lying,
end up, I promise you, by the time I'm done with
Think
you,
again.
you're gonna end up in federal prison.
exactly
I promise
by law.
you.
By
I
law,
promise
you're going to
you.
get held.
And I'm not talking about jail. I'm talking about jail.
You're going to be You're going to be held to account.
I have evidence that you've been lying in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. You don't have to take my word for it. I've got the body cams. I've got the documents, and now I have unsealed transcripts. We're
Thank
going to
you.
have a lot of fun in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. We're going to have a lot of fucking fun. Okay? We're going to have a lot of podcasts, and we're going to expose what you've done in the Mustafa Aljazairi. Using police officers to falsify a whole entire case.
What is she going to say? I was threatened by the police?
Using police officer that weaponized children in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. A 9, a 10, a 14.
And a 16-year-old.
And a 16-year-old. Weaponized those children against Mustafa. Google Nest videos show Mustafa loved the children.
Google Nest that she ignored.
Google Nest that you ignored for the past 2.5 years. Forensic interview that show your police officers
Did she instruct the police not to
weaponized children. Wait a minute. Body cam that show you've been notified every step of the way. A vehicle crushed and staged. A vehicle. They took Mustafa's vehicle. We have picture of the vehicle at the scene. We have pictures of the vehicle inside the police department. The police crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle. A dash camera where your officer, Chad Mason, is now talking about cutting and muting the dash camera.
By the way, she stopped the reconstruction of Mustafa's car. Drum said it.
On the record, she stopped the reconstruction of Mustafa's vehicle,
Her.
where there is a judge order.
Not Amy Ashworth. Not Stephanie Buck. Not Mallet. Sarah Sammy stopped it.
A dash camera that your officer cut and muted, that you instructed and told him it doesn't have audio. You told him to remove the audio. Why would Chad Mason on the stand? I mean, you have an officer that took Mustafa's dash camera from the windshield, and on the stand he says, the prosecutor told me it doesn't have audio. You're the police officer on the scene. You took the dash camera back to your car, and you're telling Judge Weimer, by the way, I have your transcripts, Officer Chad Mason, you said the prosecutor told you it doesn't have audio. Are you telling us that the prosecutor instructed you to say there's no audio? Well, when you open the case file, Officer Zymus with digital forensic admit that this dash camera does have audio. A dash camera that's cut and muted. A vehicle crushed and staged. Children 9, 10, 14, and 16 weaponized by the police.
Sarah Sammy trimmed those videos for the police. She's the one that trimmed those videos.
A conversation that prosecutor Sarah Sammy tells Judge Weimer is dangerous to release my communication. Well, of course it's dangerous, ma'am, because you're going to end up in federal prison once this communication is released. And by the way, You think you got Brad Haywood in your pocket? He's going to have to explain where the $100,000 went and what he's done for the whole entire year. Mustafa is entitled to a lawyer. And by the way, Mustafa didn't fire this lawyer. Mustafa tells this defense attorney, I need you on my case. I want you on my case. All I'm asking is, where is the extraction of my dash camera? And where is the reconstruction of my vehicle? We're going to get to the bottom of what's going on in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. And I promise you, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, Prosecutor Stephanie Buck, I'm not the only one looking into this case anymore. The transcripts are getting unsealed by the federal government. On that note, thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam, Judge Carol Weimer, you're under the microscope.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems.
We're going to have problems.
Whatever copies
the federal
have been made of
government's going to have
those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will